Hello coders, welcome back with a new video. In this video we are going to discuss regarding DTO in a Spring application and its use in a microservice. So DTO stands for Data Transfer Object. So as the name suggests, we are going to use it to transfer the data from one place to another. Means from one microservice to another microservice, or from one application to another application we use data, and the data is going to be in the format of data transfer object. So does that mean without DTO we cannot go for transferring the data? Yes, it is not mandatory, it is optional. We can transfer the object without present of DTO also, but it is a design pattern. We should follow it while you are transferring the data with the help of DTO. It is going to be secure. It is going to be you know the object is not going to expose all the details of entity. It is very close to an entity, but it is not exactly the entity. So we use it to present data to the client. We use it to hide details present in the entity. It is not mandatory, remember it. We may add it with the application, but it is not mandatory. And the microservices, whichever we are creating with the help of Spring in the Spring MVC, the microservices will use the DTO to send and receive data. So the DTO, if you use in a application built by using Spring MVC, then it looks like this. The Spring DTO is to show the data. It's a kind of a mask to the entity. The entity is the process to store the data. It is the backend, means with the database the entity is going to be attached, but with the front end the DTO is going to be attached. So that is what is the difference between entity and DTO. So here in this diagram I am trying to show you, if there is a entity exists as an employee, which may exist various attributes, thus I have shown over there: employee number, fname, lname, design, location, and lot of different things, which will be storing the data in an employee table in the database, and that is going to be used by this repositories, services, service IMPL. So that I will discuss in the later part on the different video. If you are not if you have not seen the previous video where I have gone for creating the database connection, all this thing, then I will put the link of that video in the description box. And here I have gone for showing you one class which is called as EMP-DTO. That is what is a DTO name I have mentioned. The name of the class we should mention like this. DTO should be the suffix. And here I have gone for EMPNO and photo. Photo might be there in the entity which is named as employee, apart from all this fname, lname, designation, all this thing. So means there are 5-7 number of attributes in the employee class, but there will be 2 attributes in the DTO. That's not the case in all the time, but that can be possible. We may represent whichever our application want to present. We cannot present everything to the user. So that is what is the use of DTO. So let us have a look at an application. So here I have gone for enhancing the application which I have discussed in the previous video, the same application which I had shown in the video which I had discussed in the last one. So I will put in the description box, please refer to it. So that application only I will extend, means I will add few things into it. If I will go for a recall. So here is the entities package. I had created this state class. Now I am adding this employee class. So the employee class is nothing but an entity. So here I have gone for using this annotation as entity, then 4 attributes: employee number, or empno, fname, lname, job, all this thing. Then for set of setter getter methods, this empno is going to be a primary key. So at id and at generated value I have used as the annotation to mention as the primary key. Then I have gone for creating this employee repository. This employee repository is nothing but an interface which extends Zapier repository again, and it uses the entity as employee class, and its primary key is long. Then in the controller, I have created a employee controller. This employee controller is having this look at this second method without looking at the first one. In the second method, I have gone for creating the request mapping, or creating the URL for this method as get full emp. The get full emp is an URL which accepts the path variable as id. The path variable which is mentioned in the parameter, that will be used as the find by id in the repository object. This emp repo is the auto add field in the class. This emp repo is the object of employee repository. Then find by id is the predefined method inside it, which returns an option type, which I have converted to the employee type by using get. So this much I have done, and I have returned it because the return type of this method is employee type. So if you look at this URL in the browser or in the Postman, then how it look like. So here this is the database. If I'll show you, this is the database, employee database, in fact employee table. So employee table has two rows, Virat Kohli as the fname and lname, job is captain, then Mahindra Singh as the second row. If you look at this full get full emp slash 1 is the employee number, and it is being represented as a path variable. So here is the output we are getting: Virat, lname is Kohli, and job is captain. The entire record is being presented, means everything is exposed. If we have stored the spouse name, then Anushka Sharma also is going to be exposed. If this application is going to be used by any client application, the entire entity is going to be exposed. If I'll use 2, then so here you can see the f name is Mahindra, L name is Singh, job is champion. So that is what I have exposed everything about the employee. But in place of that, if I'll go for a new API, this one, a new API is what? This one is the method which I have created in the same controller, but this one is the API which is get emp. Here it is get full emp, but this one is a shorter one, get emp, which again accept the same path variable id, you can see, and few extra lines here I have written. This is what same line which is fetched by using find by id. Get is going to convert it to the employee type, but the next line onwards, here you can see I have gone for using a new class as employee DTO. So where is this employee DTO? Now have a look at it. This employee DTO I have created over here. A new package I have created as DTO package, and here is the employee DTO. It's nothing, it's a very ordinary class. It's a ordinary class only. Nothing I have to mention in the annotation or something like it. Just as a better practice, you should implement serializable interface, because it is going to be transmitted between the client and server, means maybe use different users. So a serializable object must be there to transfer in the network. So the serial ID I have declared. Then here two variables I have declared in place of 4 5 variables which is there in the employee class. Here in the DTO class I have created only two variables: employee number, employee underscore number, and name. So get employee number, set employee number, get name, set name, nothing extra, nothing any um, stuff which is not understandable to any of you, I think. So now let us go back to this controller. So here this employee DTO I have initialized. Now this set employee number and set name I have called by fetching the value from EMP object which has been returned from this repository. So here get empno is set to this set employee number and the set name is set to this get get f name and get l name separated by a space. Means we are going to get full name in place of first name and last name. So that DTO object is going to be returned from this controller method, and this return type is employee DTO. So let us go back to the browser. If I'll access this URL, so here don't look at this, I'll change it. So get emp is the URL and slash 2 if I'll use as the path variables value, then here you can see I'm getting employee number. So if I am accessing entity, you can see empno, which is the name of the variable in the employee class or employee entity. Employee number is the name of the variable which is present in the DTO. So I am getting the employee number 2, name as the Mahendra Singh. So same thing, if I'll access 1, then here I am getting Virat Kohli and employee number 1. So that is the difference. Means if you can imagine, if this browser is an application which is a attendance system, a security is sitting somewhere in the gate and he is going to take the attendance of the employee. So why the security or the attendance system needs the entire information of the employee? Only the punch in will happen, which will fetch the employee number. If that employee number exists, then it will accept the attendance. Then the security, why does he needs the entire information of the employee? Means if this is Virat Kohli and the spouse name also has been mentioned in the employee object, then spouse names the Anushka Sharma is also going to be available over here. Why? Why we need it? So whichever is required, that much only we will provide. So that is the advantage of using DTO. If I'll use something which is something like suppose doesn't exist, if I'll go for using 5, which is an employee number which does not exist, the path variables value is applied. So here I am getting this white label error because that variable does not exist, or that employee number does not exist. So I am getting an exception in the Spring Boot or Spring application. So here this one is no such element exception. This one we need to handle, and this exception we need to handle while you are dealing with the database. So that I will show you in the next video. So this much for this session. Thanks for watching.